Ladies and gentlemen, I will try to introduce to you today's Nobel laureates who will talk on three comparatively different subjects. They have not discussed between themselves what the other one will say. They don't know. And we don't know if the order of sequence would be logic or chaos. But being immunologists, we know that out of chaos normally will order arise. Now, who are these Nobel laureates? Well, they span over quite some time period. Niels Jerne is 72 years old, born in Denmark. He's the international globetrotter of the three. He left Denmark to become actually professor of biophysics in Geneva in 60, in microbiology in the University of Pittsburgh in 62, came back to Europe to become professor of experimental therapy, whatever that is, in Frankfurt, and ended up as the first director of the Basel Institute of Immunology, where he stayed until his retirement in 80. Niels Jerne is still a very active man, as you will soon see. So what have they done? They worked in immunology. And the immune system is an intelligent system in the body which has to separate difference, self from non-self. They also have to be ready, prepared to see the unknown, the unforeseen. And it has memory. And it has the capacity to make thousands of millions of molecules that can defend its body, the so-called specific antibodies. And all three of the Nobel laureates have discussed specificity, try to find out what it's all about. Niels Jerne, if you start with him, what has he done? But he has actually always been working on, in fact, he's been obsessed with trying to find out how the immune system is generated, how it exists, how this sort of specificity and readiness of defense does arise. He has published, in essence, three major theories. One, which was published in 1956, when he was a guest scientist at the California Institute of Technology. And 56, you should remember, indicates that Niels Jerne is also, from the point of view of development, a late developer. He came into action quite late. He was 44 years of age at that time. He said that in contrast to the prevailing theories at that time, the so-called template theory, for instance, of Linus Pauling, who said that the antigen, the foreign material, was functioning as a template and made the antibodies. Jerne said, this is wrong. It's all there from the beginning. The system knows it's just a selection according to Darwinian laws subsequently to that. And that theory of Niels Jerne was rapidly proved to be correct. He then turned into another sort of subject. We all know that transplantation of tissue between individuals is the most difficult task. There are violent defense reactions between individuals. We call these histocompatibility reactions, transplantation antigens, the molecules which are responsible. Now, Jerne thought that these molecules certainly must have the function within the body. They must represent something old. Wouldn't it be logical if, in fact, they function within our body to teach and select those cells, defense cells within our body, which will be the very best to defend the private territorium of that particular individual? Again, it has turned out to be true. The transplantation antigens, which we call HLA in the human, for instance, are in fact highly important teachers of the specificity of our immune system and makes our cells within the body function in an optimal way within self. And in the third theory, the so-called network theory, which came in 1974, he introduced yet another concept, saying that this enormous richness of structural variability in the immune system must mean that not only can we make antibodies against everything that is foreign, we can also, in fact, make antibodies against all our antibodies. And in a philosophical sense, one could say that that means that we have within our immune system all the potential structures of foreignness that we can make a reaction against. And he brings us into this kind of mirror halls of immunology, where pairs of antibodies and the mirror images are spontaneously created during the developed immune system. And they sort of dance, they establish communications. And they are then ready. There's a kind of equilibrium established. Then a foreign structure comes in, changes the equilibrium, and that is, in part at least, how the immune system is being generated. And also predicted from this third theory was the fact that these mirror images, which could, let's say, an antibody against a virus, and then an anti-antibody against the virus, that's the mirror image, could function like the virus. Has been shown that, in fact, you can vaccinate, not with the virus necessarily only, but also with the mirror image, the anti-antibody. A bit almost science fiction-minded. Now, I think I should not talk very much more. I should call upon Niels Jerne to start the series of lectures this year, to give his Nobel Prize lecture, and the title of that is The Generative Grammar of the Immune System. Please.